Don't put all your money into an IUL. What? That's Doug Andrew? I thought he tells people to put all their money in IUL. I've never said that. Diversify. Okay, how many times have you heard, don't put all your eggs in one basket? But what I am going to talk about in this episode is you don't diversify by putting your eggs in a basket where a lot of those eggs are going to break because they don't even get a rate of return greater than inflation. Okay, you diversify into superior vehicles. I do recommend that 40 to 60% of your retirement income should not even show up on the front page of your 1040 tax return. That's best accomplished by max-funded IUL. And I recommend diversifying your IUL policies and indexing strategies. But that still leaves 40 to 60% of your money should be in other places. So get ready. I'm going to show you what I mean by diversification. So I'm Doug Andrew. I've been a financial strategist and retirement planning specialist now for more than 5 decades, helping thousands of Americans optimize their assets, minimize their taxes, and empower their authentic wealth. And I've always had people diversify. Okay? Folks, if you're a financial advisor, let me just say it this way. Pigs get fat. Hogs get slaughtered. Don't try to hog all of your clients' assets and put it into your favorite vehicle, okay? I've never done that. What I do is I educate people on the merits of max-funded IUL, my favorite vehicle, because it passes the liquidity, safety, rate of return test with flying colors. So let me explain what I mean by this and what I would recommend to diversify your assets. So when I sit down and meet with people, or any of the advisors that I train sit down and meet with people, they look at their whole picture, okay? And so let me simplify this. I do it in my book, The Laser Fund, chapter 14. So when people say, oh, Doug Andrew tells people that they should put all their money in IUL. No, I don't. Read my book, okay? So in chapter 14 of my book, it's very obvious that I sort of outline 4 general resources that Americans may draw from for retirement income. Some Americans draw from just one, some 2, some 3, some all 4, okay? So there's investment income, there's real estate income, there's guaranteed income, but the most underutilized and misunderstood is this one. That's my favorite one, the tax-free one, for obvious reasons, okay? So let's dive deeper into this because I think you should diversify into all of these. Did you hear that? Okay. So the purple bucket, unfortunately, is where too many Americans are way too top-heavy. In fact, 91% of Americans have way too much money in yet-to-be-taxed IRAs or 401ks invested in the volatile stock market when they retire. Wall Street was not designed to create predictable income, folks. That is not where you have your money if you need predictable income. You need to do what I call a strategic rollout. You got to get money out of this purple bucket sooner than later. This is called a strategic rollout. I'll touch on what that means, but I would recommend, maybe up to 30% of your income could come out of there when you retire. But most Americans, golly, they're relying on 80 or 90% of their income to come out of here. And if they retired in the year 2000, they saw that nest egg dwindle down in value 40%, down from $1 million if they had $1 million nest egg down to $600,000 twice during that decade, 2001 to 2003, and again in 2008. They felt like they lost their future. Do you know that from the year 2000 to 2015, the S&P 500, if you just left your money in there and you didn't take out income, your average return would have been 7.5%. Well, see, theoretically, that means for a lot of people, 7.5%, I should be able to pull out $75,000 a year without depleting my $1 million. No. Because if you retired in the year 2000, what happened in 2001 to 2003? That $1 million nest egg went down. If you pulled out $75,000 a year out of your million, and then you had the 2008 40% drop. By 2015, you would have only had 98,000 left. Your $1 million nest egg would have dwindled down by 92%. See, sequence of returns makes a big difference. The average return was 7.5. That doesn't mean you can pull out 7.5 and not outlive your money. A lot of people don't understand that. And so don't have your retirement reliant upon money in the market, because the market, Wall Street was not designed to create predictable income, okay? Because you have to redeem your mutual fund shares or whatever. And if you ask Wall Street, when's the best time to sell my mutual fund shares or sell my stocks, what do they tell you? Never. Wall Street will tell you, don't ever sell your stocks or mutual fund shares. Well, why did you save it in the first place? So that you could take the money out, okay? So what you did for retirement is not what you should be doing at retirement. At retirement planning is something totally different than what you did for retirement. Does that make sense? So I recommend that no more than 30% of your income should come out of this. Now, some people own real estate, okay? I diversify into real estate. Now, if you've watched very many of my episodes on this channel, I don't keep my real estate equity in the real estate. I keep it separated down here in this green bucket, so that when the real estate goes down in value, which real estate gets affected, like 2008, my own house went down in value from $1.5 million down to $1.1 million in 1 year. But I didn't lose that $400,000 because it wasn't trapped in the property, okay? Folks, if you have real estate, if you have rental properties, I'm going to caution you, don't rely on all of your retirement to come from that rental income and having no vacancies or having plenty of tenants in there. Because real estate can go down in value substantially, like it did in 2008, personal residences, like it did during COVID-19 with commercial real estate, okay? And there's a lot of commercial real estate landlords that have lost their commercial properties in foreclosure when interest rates went up and the vacancies were 50%, okay? Don't rely on, I would say no more than 30% of your income should be reliant upon your real estate having tenants paying rent. Got it? But you can diversify there. I do, okay? Somewhere between 0 to 80% could come from Social Security, or maybe a pension, a guaranteed pension if you're a school teacher, police officer, firefighter, or your company had a pension. Maybe even an annuity that gives you a guaranteed income. Even if you run out of money, you'll still keep getting an income until you die, okay? Not usually a very good rate of return, but it gives you guaranteed income. But this is the most underutilized and misunderstood, and this is the tax-free bucket. You have Roths in this bucket. You have municipal bonds. I've never owned a Roth and never will. I've never owned an IRA or 401k and never will, because a max-funded tax advantage insurance contracts, they have 6 huge advantages over a Roth that only has 2 of those 6 advantages. So why would I mess around with a Roth? You can only put in a certain dollar amount, a certain percent of your income. I don't want those strings. I can't touch it till I'm 59 and a half or for 5 years. If I make too much money, I can't even own a Roth. Why do I want all those strings attached? Because max-funded IUL doesn't have those, a laser fund. Municipal bonds aren't very popular anymore because they're low yielding, and a lot of municipalities are filing bankruptcy, so people don't trust them much anymore. They're not as safe as they used to be perceived. Okay, so this is my favorite, but I don't recommend 100% of your money be here. Have we had clients who have wanted 100% of their income to not show up on the front page of their 1040 tax return? Yes, that's their decision. I did not advise them to have 100% of their income in the green bucket, but some have chosen to do that, okay? Because they figured it out in their situation. But I would recommend 40% of your income, up to 60% of your income, not even show up on the front page of your 1040 tax return when you retire. It's tax-free. Did I say 100%? No, because you can have some money coming from here, here, and here, which most people do. You've heard the phrase, don't put all your eggs in one basket. So I'm saying don't put all your eggs in this basket, but make sure that your diversification isn't putting your eggs in some basket in a bank or credit union, earning 1% or 2% when the current of inflation is coming down at 8, 9, or 10. You're going backwards. Diversification doesn't mean you spread your money out in inferior investments. You diversify in superior investments. Now, I have very savvy clients that have, 2 IULs, 4 IULs, 7 IULs, 117 IUL. They diversify with laser funds, okay? But some of them have real estate. I have many mega wealthy real estate clients and landlords. They have their real estate, but this is where they keep their working capital, okay? Most of them get their money out of IRAs or 401ks, but some of them leave a little bit in there, but they have to keep paying tax on that. You make that decision. So, folks, all I'm saying is don't put all your money into IUL. I've never recommended that, even though it's my favorite vehicle. But I do recommend you do a strategic rollout from, let's say, this purple bucket where most people are way too top heavy, and diversify into the green bucket. I don't mean diversify by putting your money in more mutual funds. That's going from the frying pan into the fire. If you keep deferring until you're age 72 and taking RMDs, you're leaving all your money there. You're not diversifying. You need to diversify to these other buckets, and I would recommend this one because most people at least have, a home, or they might have Social Security, so they're okay here. It's here they're lacking. Does that make sense? And so, but I don't tell people to take 100% of their money and put it down here. That's up to them if they want to do that. Okay. So when people come to meet with any of the advisors I teach, they take them through an 8-step process. And this is a true wealth transformation. We, first of all, enlighten them so that they get educated on why is a max funded IUL tax-free and how do you structure it correctly and fund it properly, what have you, and how to diversify. And then we look at where they're at with all of their assets. And then we ask them, what assets would you like to reposition based upon if they're underperforming or non-performing? They're not passing the liquidity, safety, rate of return tests, as well as max funded IUL can. And then the tax benefits. Any assets that we can increase the liquidity of that money, the safety, the rate of return and tax benefits, then I ask their permission. Would you like me to design an IUL or portfolio of IULs, a green bucket or green buckets, to optimize assets that are underperforming right now? And when they say, yes, show us what would happen if we moved the money from here over to here, or we did a strategic rollout, or what if we sold this rental property that we're sick and tired of being a landlord? It's like an albatross around our neck, and we pay the capital gain tax and put it into an IUL. I ask their permission. I'm not hogging all their money. I let them tell me which ones are you sort of wanting to increase the liquidity, safety, rate of return, and tax benefits. Well, what if we did this one and this one and this one? So that's the strategic design, and it's usually somewhere between 40 to 60% of their assets where they currently have their money. They reposition assets without increasing their outlay one dime. Because when I do an illustration, the IUL portfolio increases their net spendable income and lasts until their age 120, whereas if they keep their money where it's at, they run out of money at age 76. It's like a no-brainer. But they tell me which ones. We don't grab 100%. Very rarely do any of my clients say, I'm really dissatisfied with where all of my assets are. But if they are, then I'll accommodate their request. But see, that's what we do. We diversify. We have their portfolios spread out among several different asset categories. We arrive at a success formula based upon their risk tolerance, and we go through a refinement process, and we put that blueprint into action. And my clients get real estate income. They get guaranteed income. They get income maybe out of their IRA or 401ks, but they love it because I take maybe 40 to 60% of their income and I get it off of their 1040 tax return by having it moved down into the green bucket, and they love it. They're getting $200,000 of income, but they only have to pay tax on 80,000 of it because 60% of it now is in the green category. It's tax-free. It's pretty incredible. And so that's the implementation, and then we go through an annual review and we continue to diversify. You must diversify every year. In fact, if they have multiple IUL policies, we diversify every year and we rebalance so that they can earn rates of return of 11 to 14%. And if they earn 11, they can net 10. That's one of the secrets of IUL. So many times I compare maximum funded IUL to a financial Swiss Army knife. Yes, it is the dream solution for retirement planning. It'll knock the socks off of most IRAs and 401ks. So that's where a lot of people will reposition money. Death benefit, sometimes it's far better than the insurance policy they're paying into. It's way better than a 529 college savings plan. Working capital for business, but we don't tell people to take all their working capital and put it in this. The average is about half. Half of their working capital, they put it into an IUL because they can use it anytime they want, become their own banker. Same thing with real estate management. How about lump sums? People get an inheritance or whatever. A lot of people will put that into there, but not 100% of it. Some do. Most don't. General tax reduction, doing a strategic rollout. Most people don't roll out 100% of their money out of their IRAs or 401ks, but 40 to 60%. Pension maximization, that's not taking 100%. They still get a pension being a school teacher. We just maximize their pension by taking the differential between a survivor benefit and a no survivor benefit and put it into an IUL. And now it's the best approach instead of buying the most expensive life insurance policy they're ever sold. And that's from, the state pension department where they taught school. People don't sometimes understand that. Estate plan, emergency funds. When people have emergency funds in a bank, I don't take it all. The average is about 50%. If somebody keeps $100,000 on hand in a bank in case of an emergency, I simply say, how often is an emergency so urgent that you have to, within 10 minutes, drive down to the corner to a drive-up window of the bank and withdraw $100,000? Rarely. So how much of this $100,000 you have in a bank for an emergency fund do you want to have immediate access to at a drive-up window? Oh, 50,000 is plenty. If I could get the other 50,000 within a couple of days, that's fine. Okay, well then you'll earn a better rate of return, tax-free, and increase the safety by moving it over to an IUL. I didn't hog 100% of that. I let the client decide that. Is this making sense? So my message is, don't put all your money in an IUL, diversify. And please don't get the impression that I think all your money should be in IUL. But I do think that you ought to consider having 40, 50, 60% of your income be totally tax-free at retirement, which requires that maybe 40, 50, 60% of your retirement assets be in max-funded IUL, not 100%. If you want to see what I've been talking about here, chapter 14 of my book, The Laser Fund. This book has been flying off of our warehouse shelves. It retails for $20 up to $60 on Amazon. If you buy this on Amazon, thank you. But I'll gift you a copy free. To claim your free copy, simply go to laserfund.com or click on the link below. You contribute a nominal amount towards the shipping and handling. I require a little bit of skin in the game, and I'll cover the rest of that cost, and I'll pay for the book. I'll fire out a hard copy of this 300-page book to you via priority mail. And then when you're in there claiming your free copy, if you'd like to listen and learn or watch and learn, there's those formats available for a nominal investment. You can schedule to attend a free educational webinar that we do on a weekly basis. You can even schedule an appointment with an IUL specialist, no cost or obligation, to see how a properly structured max-funded IUL may be an addition, not in place of, where you have your money, okay? Where you may want to roll money out of some of the places that's underperforming to increase liquidity, safety, rate of return, and tax benefits, but not 100% of it, okay? Stay diversified. And you'll see that when you study the book. So claim your copy now, and you'll see what I mean by diversifying in superior vehicles, not inferior vehicles. That's not smart.